Welcome to the Greenway Outdoors podcast. The Greenway Outdoors is also an internationally syndicated TV show on Pursuit Channel and Wild TV. You are now tuned into our weekly podcast hosted by executive producer Kyle Green, production coordinator Jeff Hutchinson, director AJ Beadle, and creative producer Ryan Parks. We live in a world where our natural resources are almost solely protected by funds raised by hunters and fishermen, with over 60% of those funds coming from white males over the age of 55. The Greenway Outdoors team has set out on a mission to create content that would inspire millennials, Generation Z, and new sportsmen and women to get out, hunt, fish, and contribute towards conservation and the betterment of our planet. Welcome to the Greenway Outdoors. Hello and welcome to episode 43 of the Greenway Outdoors podcast. I am Kyle.
I'm Jeff.
I'm AJ.
I'm Ryan.
What's up, guys?
What's up?
Nothing much.
You know what isn't up?
Tell me.
Any cool information when it comes to our podcast. No, I'm just kidding. When it comes to the Area 51 raid. So we covered it last week. It was on our podcast last week. For those of you listening in the future, there was something that was supposed to happen that no one will remember now because nothing did happen. But at one point...
Maybe they got neuralized. And you never know.
Apparently there was supposed to be a raid on Area 51 where basically the theme was... Let's all go, let's storm Area 51. They can't stop all of us. Never heard of machine guns, these people. But anyhow...
They can nuke
you. But this big group, a Facebook group, got put together. 2 million people said that they were going to go storm Area 51. It happened this past week. We had been making bids on what was going to happen. Jeff had the closest guess to anyone on what would happen, that it eventually became a festival. Apparently, a couple people that were there did get arrested, but only one girl started to cross the line, and then they threatened her with death, possible death, and arrests and stuff like that.
Oh,
and
really? Really? Oh, what?
And then
I'm shocked.
She's like, but there's 2 million of us. But there wasn't. There was 500 people.
No, there was more than that.
That's what I read. At the fence, there was 500 people.
I mean, I saw a drone aerial shot that looked like close to 6,000?
I didn't see that. I didn't see anything like that or hear anything like that.
Even 500 people. Imagine if all 500 still tried to cross. That'd still be tough to stop that many people.
Yeah, you'd have to pivot the whole gun.
Yeah, I know. You'd have someone holding the front.
It'd be like
your pitchfork. You'd have a hard time.
Eventually, you'd have to change out the barrel and everything.
Yeah. You run out of.
You might need about 5,000 to figure it out.
Yeah. I had heard that it was only 500 in all the news articles I read.
It looked like they were having fun, but we didn't.
Yeah, it was a festival.
We didn't get any answers.
It was 3 different festivals. There was Alien Stock, which was the big one, and that was in Vegas. And then there was another smaller one in Rachel, which was the nearby city. And I feel really bad for the city because they went and they spent all these extra resources. They're even if only 10% of the people come, there's still 200,000 people.
Oh yeah.
We have to get extra firefighters.
All 44 of us are going to be busy.
Extra paramedics. Yeah, it's a town of 1,000 people or something.
Yeah.
You're you got to get extra paramedics, policemen, and they brought people in from all over, and then it was nothing.
Just a party.
Total bust.
That's what they get.
A party.
Super sad.
You know what won't be a bust? The next 4 days for us. Except for sky busting.
I was just going to say.
Nice. You know what he's going to start doing? He's going to start doing that in casual conversation with weird segues. It's
and we'll be like, huh?
Just stop it.
I can smell the jealousy in here and it reeks. Maybe that's just Jeffrey.
That's what it is.
That's what it's jealousy.
So over the next 4 days, we're going to be filming 2 episodes. Talk about cramming. We are going to be filming the sturgeon fishing. Now, it looks like, based on the weather, we're going to be in Algonac, Michigan. And it looks like, based on the weather, that Thursday we better make it count. Because I don't know what Friday is going to be holding for us. Possible rain, yeah.
Possible, yeah.
And it's supposed to have possible 30% chance of thunderstorms in the afternoon. Which at 30% means they don't know anything.
Correct.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That could mean nothing.
Until it's actually raining, they know nothing.
But it's supposed to be 60 and sunny on Thursday. No chance of rain. So it'll probably rain Thursday. But I'm pretty excited about this. We're going to it's a prehistoric dinosaur fish, the sturgeon. They're catching 7-footers out there. They catch small ones too. But they are a huge dinosaur. And they have quite the history inside the Great Lakes. Originally, I don't want to mess this up, but originally they were often caught as bycatch in the Great Lakes. And we had a lot of them at the time. This is I don't know when.
Industrial Revolution.
No. I said it wrong before, you guys.
Somewhere around, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly when, and I don't want to guess, but it was a long time ago, like 100 to 200 years ago, somewhere in there.
Okay.
In the Great Lakes, they were, I think it was in the early 1900s. But
that sounds right.
But they were catching them as bycatch, the commercial fishermen were, and they would get irritated with them, because they were just these big, massive things that were in the way. And they would kill them, and then they would melt them down and use them to make candles.
Ugh.
And then that's like they used it as like the oil, and they make wax out of them.
That's a fun fact.
That was their purpose. But just killing loads and loads and loads of them, like to the brink of... And then after that, someone tried their eggs, and they're like, wow, these are pretty good.
Yeah.
And then, wow, the meat isn't horrendous. And then there became a big market overseas for it, where they were selling it overseas. So then they started catching them on purpose. And you thought they were catching a lot by accident. When they were targeting them, that number went up incredible amounts. Well, then they almost pretty much wiped them all out. And then there was just a very, very small population still in place in the Great Lakes, and then in through the river systems in Algonac and St. Clair River. They catch them in the Detroit River as well. So all throughout those river and lake systems. Now the numbers have come back to appropriate measures through conservation efforts. They, obviously building back up the Great Lakes due to pollution and things like that, and putting strict regulations on them. Now, to get a sturgeon, it works like almost like a deer tag in Michigan, where you actually have to tag the fish like you would a deer, but it's a slot fish. Now, for those of you who don't know what a slot fish is,
I don't.
A slot fish is, like when we go largemouth bass fishing, and it's like you got to be 14 inches to keep. Mm-hmm. Well, with a slot fish, there's a bottom and a top. So there's a minimum and a maximum, and it's got to fall in between those gaps. So
as far as length,
right? Yep. So I believe sturgeon is 51 to 60. I think is what it is.
Inches.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We're going after sharks, man.
Wow.
Not sharks, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah. I wasn't sure, so I reread the digest this morning, and I don't think they do the tags anymore.
Really?
I think they got rid of that. So I don't know if that's like a good sign that there's. They're really coming back.
I knew that you had to
tag them anymore. But
I didn't get it yet. I didn't look into it yet.
Yeah.
That's actually your job.
They said that the tags are not. They're no longer available and not required. But you always want to double check the area you're in. Make sure that.
Did you call or anything?
No, I did not.
Why don't you go
I just
ahead and
read
jump
through the
on that
entire
tomorrow?
digest.
Why don't you leave and go do that?
Yeah, honestly we don't need you. No, just kidding. We were looking for a reason.
Go.
AJ, we came up with it. We're good now. But yeah, they're a slot fish, so keeping them, it has to be inside those regulations. And when the minimum's 51 inches.
Oh yeah.
You're talking about a big old fish.
Yeah.
I caught a muskie that was 51 inches, and that thing was a tank. I'll never forget
60 inches is big.
Yeah.
Muskie is the fish that you can't legally even bring it into your boat to unhook it, right?
No.
Is that sturgeon?
I don't know.
Because I know one of those.
It's definitely not muskie.
I remember you saying something about that.
Because I know one is like, even if you hook it and you're not even going to keep it, if you bring it into your boat to do that, it's still illegal.
I think that's sturgeon in some areas, or during the year when you can't.
Okay.
But we can keep them right now.
So you have to catch and release immediately, and if it's 5 foot long, it's probably not worth it to bring it on your boat.
Yeah.
To unhook it.
One of I don't know, but I do know that what you're saying is a thing somewhere.
Mm-hmm. I can't remember.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
Yeah. Good one, Jeff. He's like,
you can say that about anything. It's a thing somewhere. I do know that.
That actually reminds me, though. There is regulations put in place on muskies because what was happening is people would catch those as bycatch when walleye fishing in the Detroit River and stuff like that, and they would kill them. They'd donk them on the head and kill them because they hated them because they eat the walleye and stuff like that. And I swear, if you've ever watched one of those videos, the guys bring them up, and it's always the stupid, like, cliche, redneck, drunk-looking
fatty.
Yeah, just fatty. Lifts him up.
Don't shame.
Lifts him up, and
Please do.
They would, like, bop him on the head with, like, a hammer or something like that to kill him, and then just drop him in the water, and then people would go up and be like, what the hell are you doing? And they would go at it and stuff. He's like, get these garbage fish out of here. I'm like,
whoa.
If I saw somebody bring up a muskie and whack it on the head to kill it and then leave it in the water, you would have to restrain me. I would beat them like they did the wall, like they did the muskie. That makes
bop them on the head.
Do you know
like
how angry does that make you that somebody would kill something for no reason whatsoever?
Yeah.
Although I get mad when people catch a dogfish ice fishing and then throw it on the ice just so it can die, even though they're not going to eat it because they, that you want to get rid of them.
Yeah,
I want to get rid of
I
you.
don't like anything like that.
Exactly.
I was talking to somebody about bear hunting because a friend of ours is bear hunting, and I brought up how good the meat tasted on the bear that we got.
Well, it's because of where we shot it, but yeah.
Yeah, I was explaining that, and she's like, "Wait, you eat it?" I'm like, "Well, yeah." And she was like confused by it. I'm like, it would be completely disrespectful to.
Is this a pretty girl?
No, every time.
I know.
No.
She's listening right now. She's like,
Yeah, I know. Why would you put me in this place?
Okay, so she's very pretty, but you're not interested.
Yes, correct.
What if she's interested?
It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. So she.
New truck went to his head. Ryan got a new Ram today.
Yeah,
congratulations.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
And I was explaining to her how disrespectful it would be to kill an animal, especially like that,
right?
And just throw all the meat out. So I was like explaining that you try to use.
You should ever try it. You still have some, don't you?
Yeah. Actually, my dad just went up north today, and he brought a little bit with him to cook over the campfire. Aww. Yeah, so he's gonna share it with his buddies.
Nice. It's like the best tasting bear.
It was awesome.
Man, is that good?
So
like
good.
the best beef tips you ever had. Did you get to try it, AJ?
I did not. No.
You haven't tried it yet?
Mm-mm.
Wow.
Why didn't you try it?
I don't know.
You weren't there when we cooked it?
No, you had to be there because even Jeffrey was there.
Everyone was there. Yeah. We cooked the chili.
No, you tried it.
Oh, yes. I'm sorry. You're right.
Yeah, what?
I'm mental.
You said that it was.
I'm mental.
No, now I even remember you replied saying that it was like the best meat you've ever, like, as far as wild game. You said it was better than anything else you've had me let you try.
That's true. Yes. That's correct.
loopholes.
That is accurate.
I like that he was like offended. He's like, but you said.
You told me you loved it.
That bear was really good, though.
I will say,
it's because he ate other bears, deer, blueberries, and honey.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Lots of honey. When we killed him, he had honey dripping
He did
from
not.
his mouth.
Just kidding.
It's oozing out.
What were you going to say, Jeff?
It sounds like a really great story.
What?
It's like a cameraman on a national TV show meets a girl. She's a new hunter. He shows her the ropes.
Ryan, do you have a new series?
That would actually be kind of cool.
New spin-off?
That would be a little bit cool.
He's like, book it. Call the producers. Wrap it up.
Yep.
Anyhow, back to our actual sturgeon trip, because oh my gosh, do we go off topic. So,
yeah, we did.
Sturgeon fishing. I'm excited to catch one of these monsters. I never got one. My grandfather apparently fished for him quite often and never got one. But he died when he was like 49, so I never met him. But
that's right.
It would be kind of cool from like a family heirloom to get one because it was like, I for whatever reason, I remember being on a boat talking to my dad. And then I was asking, like, what's the biggest fish in, blah, blah, blah. Just asking, filling up questions in the boat like I always did. That's why I know a lot. And hopefully this wasn't a made-up answer, but he said...
he messed with you a lot.
He did. We got to tell him the golf ball story after this. Okay, but I caught... this is funny. It's so embarrassing, though. So... he told me, he's like, sturgeon. Matter of fact, Grandpa Lionel used to go for him and never ended up getting one. I was like, oh, that would be pretty cool to get something that he sought after so heavily and then like get it for the family. It's kind of cool, especially if we got to keep one, because then I'd get it mounted, because that's what would be appropriate. And then, but if you take a fish in quick enough, I think, because when they skin it, you're able to get the meat out of it too. Oh. I would love to eat a 65-year-old sturgeon. Okay, golf ball story. This is a quick little segue. This is the stuff that my dad would used to do to us. Number one, my dad is like, before the golf ball one, he's like a hairy dude. Like, he takes his shirt off, and my other uncle will be to him. He'd be like, Phil, take off your sweater before you go in the pool,
Classic.
Like, which is funny, because I don't have like a hair on me.
Yeah.
But if anyone was wondering,
we know.
A lot of road trips.
Insist.
So anyhow, my dad's like a hairier dude, and he told me that like hundreds of years ago, we were part Native American, and a Native American woman mated with a grizzly bear, and because of that, we were like 1/32nd grizzly bear, and that's why he was so hairy. And I would tell everybody.
Oh yeah.
Like, it was fact to the T, and I thought it was true.
Wow. And I remember senior year in high school. He was.
Shut up!
He's still fighting the fight.
And he had me convinced. I remember being in elementary school, going around town. Everyone was like, "Yeah," and then they'd be like, "Well, how'd that work?" And I'd be like, "Well," and he had a whole elaborate story all laid out for me, very convincing, very mean. Not as bad as what he did. So then, I wanted to be on the golf team junior year in high school. So Jeffrey and I saved up our money, got golf clubs and everything like that. And we're joining the team. And his mom worked at a golf course, so she would always give us the golf balls that would go in the ponds that were cleaned out, and we would just go through and take what we wanted. It was really cool. Free golf balls. I lived in a fantasy world.
Oh yeah, that's brilliant.
Yeah, I was like, it was awesome. So we would go through them, and my dad goes, I'd be like, well, what are the numbers for on them? And he, with a straight face and very convincing, got us.
Wait, you got to tell him what it actually is for first.
No. Why would I do that? That's the dumbest thing ever.
I think people know.
What kind of storytelling is that?
You're adamant, Ryan, that he's on the podcast with us, and this is why I don't know why.
Thanks, Ryan.
So, AJ, we should have gone with your opinion. Get him out of here. No, just kidding.
He's out.
He's got good hair. He stays.
So my dad sits down. He's like,
"Thank you, Jeff."
We were going through all these golf balls, and he goes, "Oh, there's a 1. There's a 1." So he must have conjured up.
Oh my God, a 0.
And I was like, well, what are the numbers for? Why do you care? He goes, well, what happens is when they leave the factory, they actually grade them on how perfect they are. And then they could be anywhere from a 0, which is like the best, all the way to a 4 or 5, which are like they're garbage ones, but you just never know what you're going to get a pack, kind of like a pack of baseball cards. You get some 4s, some 3s, some 2s, some 1s. And I was like, oh, so like the 1s are like the most perfect ones. And he's like, yeah, so the more of those you can get, the better off you are. So
we collected them.
Idiots, me and Jeffrey here. We would be like, we would always get paired up at the golf course with other people. And how many people out there do you think we're complete psychopaths?
Or they believe that.
Yeah, we
didn't know either.
We started telling everyone else that that's what it was. Yeah. I mean, we told everybody. Yeah. And then finally, Mr. Masano was like, dude, no, it's just so if you're shooting the same golf ball, you can tell the difference between who shoots what, whose ball is whose. And I was like, are you serious? He goes, yeah, they're all the same. They're golf ball. They're all the main. I was like, I went home and I was like,
slam the door.
1s, Dad? 1s? And he just bust out laughing. He goes, I can't believe you bought that one.
It's been a 2-year joke.
He's like, Google exists. You have Google. You didn't have to be that dumb. So that was
when.
Bless your heart, Phil.
Yeah, thanks, Dad.
I had both my parents got in on this one. When I was about 10 years old. When I was about 10 years old. And you know the whole puberty thing is starting to come around. And
at 10? Man, try 15 for me.
4th and 5th grade.
Look at me. I still sound like I'm 12, and I look like I'm 15. It didn't come to me until I was like 12, 15. But go ahead.
Well, I don't know.
Go ahead, early riser.
But they're like, yeah, when boys start to go through puberty, they lose their tongue.
Oh, goodness.
And I was like, what? And they're explaining it to me. They're like, yeah, like maybe this person, but it's not always. Sometimes some boys don't lose their tongue.
Sometimes they split in half like the snake.
Yeah, there you go.
But then it grows back. And so I went to my friend's
like antlers on a deer.
Yeah,
exactly.
Like that.
It's freaking me out. For some reason, I want to keep checking my tongue right now.
Oh, and then so I went to my friend's house, and like they totally made this up. And I believed it. Went to my friend's house, and I asked my friend's dad, "Did you lose your tongue?"
Oh,
and
he's like,
and he goes, "What the hell did you say?"
Story, he gets in on it.
Yep.
That's exactly what he said. Without skipping a beat, he said, "No, I didn't, but my brother did." I'm like,
legend
no
lives
way.
on.
What a jerk!
And my parents, they didn't talk to each other or anything. They just got in on it.
They're like, this idiot.
And then I went home and told my parents. I'm like, yeah,
his brother did.
Yeah, his brother lost his, and they're like, what? So they had to confess that it was a lie.
Yeah, he just smoked a lot of tobacco.
Oh yeah.
Grizzly chewing tobacco actually does have that number system, though. You have to, if you scrape off the side of the package, it's got a rating system on the side
for
of it.
the dip.
Yeah, how good it is.
And the Sturgeon General.
Like this one's more likely to give you cancer than the other one.
Well, I think the number represents how many years until you'll be in the hospital with mouth cancer.
So you want the higher number. It's not like golf.
Yeah.
Got it. Not like golf balls where you want the low number.
I don't know that I believe him.
No, I'm true. That's
I've
serious.
actually seen other people do that.
It's for
obviously none of us smoke or drink or whatever, but I've seen that.
That's construction.
See, ever since Dad did his thing, I'm super skeptical.
Yeah, no, we trust no one.
Facts, I'm like, no.
He also convinced us that he ate bugs. And I don't know how he would do it.
Might.
He'd be like, he might.
Protein.
But
just for an experiment.
He'd be like, I don't know how he like got it past like us
like
to
a
us
sleight of
making
hand?
thing, and then we're like looking inside his mouth. He's like, see, all gone, and we're like, oh my god, he ate the bagel.
Funny thing is he just went like super simple, nothing.
No one
fancy.
So we watched him, and we're like,
Oh my god.
That's so funny.
yeah, he got us with a lot of stuff.
That's my grandpa told me raisins were bugs, so I never ate raisins again.
Raisins kind of look like bugs.
Only hurting you, they're good for you.
Well, he thought
But now
it'd be
everyone
funny,
eats
and then I
cricket.
Potato chips.
He was a visionary. Now they have cricket powder protein.
There you go. Yeah.
Okay, back to sturgeon. Believe it or not,
Wow.
sturgeon fishing.
Golf balls.
super excited about it. I think it would be awesome to get one, get it mounted, get the meat, get everything out of it.
How do you want to get it mounted?
Like mouth. Wait, they got a weird undermouth.
No. Like, do you want to take a picture of it and send it?
No, you know I don't. Don't start that war again.
Like you would think if it's like a family heirloom thing and it's something that, my grandpa tried, my dad tried,
Right.
I finally got one. No matter what it takes, I'm going to get it mounted so I can
Right.
have a representation of it. But no, if it doesn't work out with the full mount, with the actual thing, scrap it, who cares?
Unless it is the dead fish, I have no interest.
Should we just get the antlers mounted on it, though?
Jack-o'-lantern.
What are you talking about?
I'm just trying to confuse people.
Okay,
Make them think they have
including me.
antlers.
Including me.
Oh, make people think sturgeon have antlers.
I don't know. If,
Our audience
Like
is pretty.
jackalopes?
Our audience is pretty educated. Only half of them fell for the golf ball trick. So, oh wait, that's half the hosts. After we get done, so Thursday, Friday looks like bad weather though, so we better do good Thursday.
Yeah.
And we have all our B-roll shots on Thursday, and all the drone shots have to happen Thursday too, because it's going to be too risky on Friday.
Yeah.
Can't fly the drone in the rain, right? I think
No.
this one you're supposed to be able to a little, like
Maybe
better than the other
mist.
one. But yeah.
What's
yeah.
Saturday morning?
I think we're
Thunders-
past winging it now.
Yeah, thunderstorms are frowned
Yeah.
on. Saturday morning, no, we're going up to Ray's, and
Yeah.
So, okay, so then on Saturday and Sunday, we're going to be up in the Thumb hunting goose, which I'm excited. My niece's favorite food, Lily, is goose, and she's been hankering for some goose. So,
she's sitting there over. I've been hankering some. Goose.
yeah, 6-year-old girl.
Want me some goose.
I won't.
Like sling blade.
I'm done tired of these Lunchables. Also, Lily doesn't talk like that at all.
She's got a smoker voice.
She's a human, so
She
no.
hears this and does now.
No, so we're goose hunting, and we're going to be doing layout blind goose hunting. It's one of my favorite things to do. Very excited about it. We're hunting Saturday afternoon, Sunday morning, Sunday evening. We're also going to be creating the how-to video on how to clean a goose. And I've already had to pack for it because I'm going on a field trip tomorrow in the morning with Kat, my 5-year-old niece, to the apple orchard to pick pumpkins and apples. And I saw a meme that said only white people would spend $36 to buy $4 worth of apples that they have to go out and pick themselves. And I thought that was pretty funny. But anyhow, we're going apple picking and then to pick pumpkins, and then obviously that night we're sturgeon fishing. So I'm already packed, ready to go for the entire weekend. And I remembered to bring I have got 3 fillet knives, all sharpened, ready to go.
Nice.
I've got I remember to bring you the GoPros,
Yes, you
which I'm
did.
very proud of.
I am too.
Ryan's already done the gear checklist to go through everything. We haven't filmed in a long time.
No,
so
that's true.
We are set, ready to go, all good to go for filming. And then I just can't believe how well I packed. I got to pick up ammo. I did not get to stop at Bass Pro Shops. We still don't have ammo, and we have to buy those specific hats that they want us to buy. But those are the 2 things that I still got to pick up.
Yeah.
And then you're going to pick up some ammo, and I've also got to buy a goose call because I can't find mine.
Yeah.
What do you guys? Are you 12 gauges?
Isn't it in your black bag with the eye black?
I know. I looked in there.
Okay.
I know. I emptied that whole bag. You wouldn't believe the gauntlet of ammo that I had in there.
I remember
And
the
rattlers,
I mean,
and old Gatorade.
there's
You'd
so
be amazed how many times he got that through the airport.
that bag. That's actually, I know. Actually, how many times I, honest to God, have packed on accident ammunition on
And they
planes.
haven't found it?
I've
That's
never been
happened to
found.
me.
Never been found.
Yep. That's
never
happened.
been found.
Knives.
And I've been stopped and searched and patted every time. Bless their
You know
hearts.
what's crazy?
Looking for a show, but
Don't put us on a list.
Looking for
Yeah,
Don't
I was
put it
just
on the
saying,
list.
you know what's crazy?
We
is
didn't
that
mean
we're
to.
on the list now.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
Good.
cool.
Good.
Way to go.
no fly list.
No, but we have everything packed ready to go. We're doing the layout hunt, goose hunting. We're going to be hunting cut wheat fields. It's normally the first thing cut, and it's the thing that the early season geese are on. So we'll be there Saturday and Sunday, getting the last couple of days of the early season in. Very, very excited about it, and I think it's going to... When the geese are on and they're cupped and they're coming right into the decoys and you're laying in the blind, you're like, show yourself. And then they like come in and you just bust out of there and you're just shooting it. Dude, it's so much. It's so fun.
That's going to be pretty exciting.
So we'll be shooting BB shot out of Benelli 12 gauges with a modified choke tube. And they're going to say, good night, kiddo. So another thing, to get ready for it, Jeffrey and I went and shot sporting clays twice. And for the first time in our lives, both times, he beat me. This year is all Jeffrey.
Really?
He's shooting on an extremely hard course where the average score is 16.
His aim has been improving over years.
Jeffrey's, no, on a course where the average, it's an extremely hard course. Very, 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 very difficult. I mean, way harder than any other course I've ever been to. Mm-hmm. The average score on there right now, she said, was between 16 and 19. Mm-hmm. He shot a 30 both times.
Yeah, well, I mean...
I would hope so.
When you see the clay go and then it goes
show.
again,
Yeah,
it's in the same exact spot.
You have no idea. When you see that, it's nothing like anything. It's not... Like, they have this one where it literally... It is so close to you.
One. Yeah.
It's 5 yards from you. Okay? And not only is it 5 yards from you,
it's straight
across this far above the ground, 100 miles an hour, and it goes boom, boom.
If you don't shoot immediately, it hits the ground, you don't get it.
As soon as you say, you have to pull your trigger as you say pull, or it will already be in the ground. It only goes for 8 yards.
Not that extreme, but pretty close.
It's insane. And not only that, you got to shoot where it's going to be. Like, you like pull, and you shoot here, and the clay just... When I hit it, and I went berserk. I was so loud when I hit it. Yeah. What I did was I put my gun where I knew it was going to go because they're all piled up right there. Yeah. I yelled pull, and when it came into my side view vision, I fired, and I'm aimed over here. And I just saw it here, and I shattered it.
Oh, okay.
That's pretty cool.
That's how far in front of it I had to be because it was that fast and that quick.
So in real life... You'll never use that shot.
No.
Like, because the whole goal is to, like, get as many shots as possible so you practice all of them so when it happens in real life, you get that. That'll never...
I mean, that's not uncommon for, like, grouse or woodcock hunting.
Oh, sure. But in real life, you don't know it's coming.
Oh,
you don't know where it's going to go.
Yeah.
So if it takes, you get a third of a second to shoot. You'll never get that in real life.
But I shot 29, he shot 30. Nice. He beat me by 1 point both days.
Yeah. Well, I mean, hey, both of you guys got pretty good scores, though, so that's good.
I'm saying. I don't care as long as we're both shooting good.
As long as you get
I cared a lot. He's never beat me, and then he beat me both times this year.
And you can't stand to lose.
I can't.
No.
As soon as someone else starts winning, it's a different game.
It is. I'll kill him.
It's like, I just hope we both do well because we both got to shoot well for the show. All of a sudden, I'm winning now, and he's like, oh, no, what are you doing?
Oh. I found a brand new, forgot I bought it, Carlson's improved cylinder choke tube with the thing to take them out and put the new one in and everything like that. Yeah. You need to bring your gun cleaning kit up north because I don't have one anymore, and you need to bring it up north so I can clean my gun when we get up there.
All right. What is the improved cylinder?
It's mine.
What was that part of the story?
He says it's mine.
Both pieces of important information.
Oh.
Very irrelevant.
Guests love that.
So.
Guests do.
Guests to the show.
Did you ask?
They get it.
I don't think I asked.
Did you ask? I don't remember.
I didn't.
Here we go.
Couldn't have asked any less.
I forgot.
I'll tell you though.
What's the limit on Goose again? I can't remember. 5
for the early series.
Oh, wow.
Five each.
That's
so if we fill our 2 bag limits, then Ryan will shoot 5.
Would you want us to try one?
Maybe.
We can get your license.
Okay, well, you're out.
Yeah. Not excited enough.
I just assume that AJ doesn't.
I've never shot a goose. I'd love to shoot a goose.
Okay. We got you turkey. That's gonna be in season 4.
Yeah.
By the way, season 4, we're gonna be coming out with we're gonna have another wild game dinner and premiere party, and we're gonna be releasing the flyer for the save the date here pretty soon. Very soon. Then in a couple weeks it'll be the menu, and then a couple weeks from that the tickets will go on sale. AJ, when should they expect that?
Between next week and
January
the week
1st.
after.
Okay.
We get to say in 10 days.
Cool. But it'll be January 3rd.
Yeah.
So say the date. So when we come back, we're going to finish talking about our goose expedition that we have coming up. And also, DNR officers, they found a hiker's body. Pretty incredible. Stay tuned. You're a hunter, and because you hunt, you're the world's greatest conservationist. You're a huntervationist.
You do more for wildlife and conservation than anyone. The Sportsman Alliance protects hunters from the animal rights movement. When the Sportsman Alliance gets involved in court cases or legislation, hunters win. Conservation wins. Become a Huntervationist today and join the Sportsman Alliance like we did to help protect your rights against the animal rights movement.
Hot Shot Outfitters in Port Hope, Michigan is the destination for whitetail deer, crow, waterfowl, rabbit, predator, and turkey hunts. We have cabins, over 30,000 non-fenced acres, and a passion for delivering fair chase hunts to you and your family. Reserve your hunt at hotshotoutfitters.com today.
When your hands are busy, your mind gets right. When your hands are busy, you can't point fingers and complain that life isn't fair. When your hands are busy, you're serving your family, your friends, and your community. When your hands are busy, you show everyone what you're capable of. The all-new Ram 1500, Motor Trend's 2019 Truck of the Year.
Hello and welcome back to episode 43 of the podcast. When we were at commercial break, we were talking about physical fitness and stuff. So we've got a lot of upcoming trips that are going to be physically grueling. And one of the things Ryan got was one of those masks that are
the elevation mask.
Yeah, the elevation mask where it makes it harder to breathe. So when you're doing cardio and stuff like that, it trains you. And AJ asked if that was similar, or if it was a simulation to what it's like to hunt in like the mountains in Colorado or Washington where we're going. And I said no, because the way that I would describe hunting, I hunted elk in Colorado a few years ago, and when I was there, I'll never forget, I trained for it physically to get ready for it. And in the one day, we covered like 12 miles on foot. And you're in the mountains, so you're climbing a lot of stuff. And it's not like you're like grabbing a rock and pulling yourself up, but it's like you're on a hill the whole time.
You're
and
walking up a steep
incline.
Yeah, and you're always navigating different things. And it's almost like you're in the woods, but you're constantly going up a hill in the woods, kind of thing. And so it's like that. But I remember the first day that we got there, and we walked like a quarter mile, and I'm in really good shape at this point, and I am this year too. But I mean, I was running like 5-6 miles and stuff like that, no problem. And after just a quarter mile of walking with a decently heavy pack on, I could feel the heartbeat in my temples, and I had a headache. And I was like, why am I having such trouble breathing? And it's the way I describe it to people when you're in the elevation is the mask makes it harder to breathe, like you're not sucking in as much. It's not like that in Colorado. Like when you're in the mountains, you're breathing the same. You're getting the same amount of
oxygen
stuff in, gas in, but you're not getting the same amount of relief that you get from breathing. So it's like
there's less oxygen in the
so you're breathing harder longer to catch your breath. Whereas like if you're like, okay, 30 seconds of breathing hard, and I'm like back to normal, it's like 2 minutes of breathing hard, and then you're still not great. You know, it's
like you still just ran.
So you're not getting the satisfaction that you get from breathing. It's hard to describe.
Yeah. Okay. So it's like when you're at sea level, it's like the air is like this, like the molecules are like this. But when you go up into the mountains, they spread out and they're like this. So each breath you're taking in less oxygen. So what the mask does is you're still getting the same amount of oxygen because you're not at a different elevation, but you're conditioning your lungs to work harder. So that way when you go there, your lungs are conditioned. It's like practicing for a race, running a race.
I hate having stuff on my face. That's why I wouldn't.
That is the hardest part to get used to it, running and like just sweating in it. And
I don't like that.
Yeah.
How do you clean it?
You can take it apart.
He doesn't.
I sleep with it.
Fungus.
Yeah.
I never clean my hockey equipment, so I feel like it's a lot like that.
I mean, you can take it apart and wash it, like put it in the washer and stuff.
Sure.
It's not bad. You can keep it clean easy.
Yeah. Yeah,
I would say it's a huge help because when I first got it, I could only wear it for like 5 minutes, but now I'm running with it.
Okay.
All right.
So a DNR officer found a body while hiking, or a guy that was hiking, and they ended up finding his body. And because of that, we're kind of discussing necessary precautions people should take prior to these kind of trips. What are your thoughts, Ryan?
So this guy was in the UP of Michigan in Big Island Wilderness area, and he's from the Clarkston area, actually. Yeah. He went up there by himself, and he didn't come back when he said he was going to come back, so they went looking for him.
They say what he was going up there for?
He's just hiking.
Why would you hike in a place called the Big Island Wilderness area?
Because you're tough.
That sounds fun.
By yourself?
But like, by yourself, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen the movie 127 Hours?
Yeah, that's true.
Have you ever...
There's bears.
In every movie about hiking ever, something bad happens.
I have no... People go hiking? That sounds awful to me. If I'm not going there to hunt or fish
without purpose,
I would rather die.
It's a good date.
Yeah, but wouldn't you want to
I'm sure that was his thoughts.
Ryan, wouldn't you want to go hunting in the Pacific Northwest?
What was that?
Wouldn't you want to go hiking, in the Pacific Northwest?
Oh, yeah.
That's where I feel
But we're going hunting in the Pacific Northwest, and I can't wait.
Mm-hmm. You get all the stuff from hiking, plus you get to hunt.
Yeah, I got to have... If I was hiking, all I'd be thinking about is there fish in that river? Was that a grouse I just heard? Oh my gosh, is there elk here? Like, I need purpose. More stimuli.
Yeah. So this guy, they said that once they found him, he had somehow cut his leg to the point where he needed to put a tourniquet on it. So he used his belt, and it didn't work, and he eventually
just bled out.
Wow. It sounds to me like either he knew what he was doing, and it unfortunately didn't work, or he went out and was like,
That's what I
got
think.
this. I've seen it in movies. I'll just use my belt and it'll be great.
Yeah,
and then it didn't work.
If he would have planned for it, I feel like he wouldn't have had to use his belt.
Yeah. He was 29 years old.
He's 29.
29.
Really?
Yeah. So I mean, how
he's young.
But I guess the DNR officers, they had to canoe and then hike and to get to him.
To get through,
how'd they find him?
4 lakes they had to go through with carryovers and
blood trail.
I don't know exactly what method they used, but they eventually found him.
Maybe cell phone.
And then maybe I don't know.
He was on a lake shore, so.
Yeah.
They had to canoe in, go through 4 lakes with carryovers in between each lake before they got to the 4th or 5th lake before they finally found him, and they only found him because he was on the shore.
Yeah. And then they had to canoe all the way back.
Was he married or anything yet?
I don't think so.
They haven't released any information on who he had.
Super sad.
Yeah.
What? Mother Nature. I mean, it can't wait to.
Yeah. But that's the thing is with all the situations we've been in as a team, like being prepared, super important. Not just the camera equipment and stuff like that, but like we all kind of have each other's backs. We know that who wants to be 8 and who doesn't if they die. But that's all we know. So what are the precautions that you could take to kind of make sure this stuff doesn't happen?
Yeah, for me. I mean, it sounds like people knew when he was supposed to be back, so that's one thing. Make sure people know when you're supposed to be back.
That's a good one.
But another big one is, if you don't have to go alone, don't go alone. Go with somebody. You never know. Like this guy, he was in his home state, and he was just going for a hike up in the UP, and things went south really quick. So
I feel like don't be overconfident ever.
Yeah.
I feel like that's got to be number one.
If you're gonna do a solo hike, do it somewhere where you've been there before, you know what you're doing. There's very little risk for injury. It's not like something crazy where you're kayaking through 4 rivers or whatever to get wherever you're going.
There was a story. I cannot remember where I heard this story, so I don't want to take claim of it, but I know that it was a story that I heard. A guy was saying that he went to France, and then he had a driver take him to where, the house and stuff that he was going to be staying at, and they gave him a key to the house, dropped him off, and then he was going to be doing some speech or something the next day or whatever. And he goes upstairs, and he's in this country he's never been to, doesn't speak the language, doesn't have anything. Sets his phone, the keys down and everything like that, goes out on the balcony, wind shuts the door behind him, locks him outside on a balcony by himself in a country where he doesn't speak the language. Ooh. He's got no way to get back inside. It's a giant drop off of the balcony. He's got no cell phone. and no one's around for miles. And he said in that moment, you realize, like, whatever confidence you think you have, I got a cell phone, I got the keys to the house, I'm at a house, I'm safe, this and that. All of a sudden, a couple turn of events that you never would have seen coming.
Even one of the safest spaces.
You're completely helpless.
Yeah.
And, like, the feeling of help, like...
Panic.
Oh, God. I'm going to have to break this window to get through, or whatever it might be. It's a couple minor events can change how you look at it.
And the thing is,
anticipate that.
When things go south, so this is another one that my dad's taught me due to his military experience. When something goes south like that, say someone was with him, it would have been their job to take care of him and try to get him out of there. Typically what happens with people when something goes wrong is the odds of something else going wrong after that increases quite a bit. Mm-hmm. So you need to mentally prepare yourself and think, okay, well, what if this like, before you ever even put yourself in the situation.
What are the different levels of shit?
So think, okay, literally, if something happens, what's our next step and how am I going to react to that so I know what I'm doing? Because if you don't, you're going to make a mistake and you can end up hurting yourself and then you both are out.
Perish.
Right.
Yeah, so that's a big thing. Just mentally prepare yourself and kind of review safety procedures and what to do in certain situations.
Safety kits and things like that.
Yeah, that's a big one. Bring stuff with you. Bring stuff with you.
That's the number one thing I've learned with filming on this show is that don't be overconfident and anything can happen at any moment and try your best to prepare for it.
Always have a backup.
You don't know what's going to happen.
Today I was talking to my car insurance guy, and at the end of the conversation, he was asking me about what I do in the show and everything. And at the end of the conversation, after we'd wrapped up everything, he's like, yeah, you might want to think about life insurance with as much traveling as you do. It was so funny. I think he's just trying to sell me something.
Of course. Yeah, but life insurance for somebody that's 19 would be like $12.
That's what he said. He's like, I'm pretty sure it'll be under $20.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it better be.
Yeah,
right.
Especially considering
he said. What
you didn't tell him about spearfishing in Hawaii with sharks, did you?
No.
$22 now.
He said, like, yeah, you might want it to give your family time to grieve and all that. I'm like, you're talking to me like I'm already dead.
I know. Yeah. If there was ever
a pretty basic
a group of 20-somethings that you shouldn't give life insurance to, it's the four sitting at this table.
Yeah. Thankfully, nothing's happened yet, and that was the kiss of death saying that, but...
It could be.
Mm-hmm. You know, this guy...
That breath in the back of your neck.
Oh, I want to start with this. If anything does go wrong, we don't stop recording.
Yeah,
it needs to be filmed.
I'm
not kidding about that at all.
Neither am I.
I don't know.
Neither am I. You just pick up the camera. See, the director saying that makes me nervous. You always better not be the one to get hurt.
I swear to God, if something happens to me,
if
you're getting mauled
filming.
by a jaguar,
I swear to God,
it's
film
mostly sharks. It's mostly sharks we're talking about here.
I want it filmed.
I do too.
What else
if I'm going to go out, it's going to be filmed.
What else are you going to show at the
We
funeral?
all make money if the show does. We all make money if the show does well. The show would do great having him ripped apart by sharks.
Think about that.
That's all I'm saying.
Great episode. And then you can put the little memorial thing at the end of the show.
How proud would you be to see Ryan getting hit by a shark and he's getting
my legs.
But he's got the camera.
He gets the best footage ever.
Bit, and he's still getting the footage.
It's perfect.
I'm like, it's framed well.
Lifting a lip.
I had to turn the camera around.
AJ's still not satisfied in the editing booth.
He's
the
shark.
AJ's like still not satisfied. He's like, well, I guess we'll have to stabilize the footage. But I guess
good thing those plugins work.
Yeah, shaky. Good thing we have motion array. But anyhow, actually, this story kind of reminds me of a story that Jeffrey and we've got two of them actually from duck hunting that kind of changed how we prepare for things. Mm-hmm. So, something that happened, we went out duck hunting. This is a managed waterfowl area, and we have this stupid thing where every year we go once everything just iced over. Because there's like always a day in Michigan where it's like right before it completely ices over, the ducks are pretty well condensed and it's great hunting. And then the next day there's no ducks and it's all ice and you're screwed. So
sometimes that's the day after Thanksgiving. Sometimes that's December the last day, 28th or something like that.
Yeah. It's like the 3rd. But anyhow, it's...
No, I'm depending on the
yeah. Nice. No, it's 22nd and 23rd normally.
Oh, okay.
Of December. But anyhow, for the late season. But we've never ever done that one. So anyways, what happens... Actually, we did it at Christie's Pond because everything thawed out, but that was the only time we've done it.
Yeah.
And we celebrated Christmas early that year. Anyhow, very irrelevant. The duck hunting... What we did was we got out there And it was the last day. It was just like that. The season. It was like, is there going to be any water? Is there not going to be? Whatever. So we go out. I know we've told this before.
Yeah.
But I've been wanting to tell the story again because it was like early on that we told it. And it was like 40-something episodes ago, and most people won't go back and listen, so it's a good story. And it relates to this quite well. Basically, we went out, and it was early in the morning. We get out there at like 5:30 in the morning. We go all the way out, and we have to take the main lake to get to a river system. We take the main lake through the river system. The main lake has ice in the little coves, but that's it. We get to pull over. We end up in this river, and we go up the river, and the river's got like these little bays off of it of water, and those have skim ice on them, but not bad. Not even, I don't even know if I would call it skim ice, almost like a light coating, if you will. So I'm like, okay, we're good. We go in there and we drive the boat in there and we drive right over that little bit of skim ice like it's not even there. It doesn't even make a cracking noise or anything. We just go right over it.
It's like the tomato soup at school lunches when it starts to cool down.
Yeah,
nice.
just like that. So it's 5:30.
Great analogy.
It's like 5:45, 6 o'clock in the morning. And it was 2 degrees out that morning. The day before, it was like 50. So we weren't sure
Never.
what was gonna
How
go
fast
down.
could it freeze?
Yeah, right. It was 2 degrees, and overnight wind chill was like -18 or something crazy like that. So Jeffrey gets out. So it's really cold. Jeffrey gets out of the boat, trips, falls, goes completely underwater immediately. Now, okay, it took us like an hour to get out to where we are in the boat, and now he's drenched. And I'm like, are you kidding me? He goes, I'm going to get back in the boat and try and just deal. Because you imagine going underwater, the water is just bitter
You
cold.
went underwater?
Yeah, he went completely head under.
I basically sat down and I took the guns and went, but at that point I had already gone like basically fully under. So I'm holding the guns up trying to save the guns. There's no point. They were already submerged.
He was so far underwater that he was I didn't see him. He was underwater, and he had the guns with him. Of course, why he would have to grab my gun, I'll never remember. But anyhow,
you were maneuvering the boat.
I didn't. Don't touch my gun if you're gonna fall in the water. So then he submerges both guns. That is a afterthought to me. He dumps the water out of them, gets in the boat, and he gets the water out of them and stuff. Not good though, obviously. In that extreme cold, metal gets cold and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, well. Now, I'm going to hurry up and set up the decoys, and then we'll have the sun come up. We'll see how we do for the first half hour of shooting, because that's normally the best anyways. We'll either get some ducks, and then we'll head in, and that'll be it. And we had a really good zone that we were in, so we were real happy with that. So I was like, all right, let's play this out.
And this was only because I was like, no, we can do it,
Yeah.
So my man's over there sitting there going,
And he's the color of your shirt right now?
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I
Pretty
mean, he
much.
was straight, and he's being a complainer. Well, the sun comes. So
why are you complaining, dude?
What an idiot.
It was 2 degrees, -12 wind chill. You were
Soaking
fine.
wet.
Soaking wet. And not only that, his wader's filled with water, and then that
I'm
was
sitting
freezing.
in water.
So he had up to his knees in water on top of that. So he's sitting in water, and all his clothes are wet, just miserable. So he's sitting out there, and I get all the decoys set up, and through this fiasco of trying to get his butt in the boat and everything else, dealing with that, I get all the decoys set up. So we sit there for probably like 20 minutes. Sun comes up. Now, what happened was a giant ice sheet that was about 3 inches thick and a mile long came down the river system, went all the way to the pullover, which is like a canal system. So it's like a stretch of river, and then right here is the pullover, and the river's right here. So river's right here. This area right here is like the area that we're hunting in, where the words are. And then that little cove area is where we're hunting. The river's like this. Well, this is where we have to pull over and then go to the main lake and back out. But this is like, I don't know,
3 inches of
half
ice.
mile.
Hello, at least.
Half mile. So in that half mile, an ice sheet that was a mile long floated all the way down the river and landed there and then froze over. And where I had put the decoys, where I had put them in open water, they were now in ice to the point where they weren't even moving. Like the ice had sealed around them. They were like sealed into the ice. I was like, well, that's not good.
And the layer of ice had like broken up, so now it's like multiple layers and refroze. So it's not even like just this thick.
Yeah.
It was
All kinds of stuff. So I'm like, okay, we are boxed in big time. I was like, okay. I go to open my gun, and I can't. And he's at this point decided he's not even going to try and hunt. He's just trying to.
My gun was entirely frozen,
and he couldn't get his hands to work. Yep. So he's like, he's just frozen solid.
At that point,
safe for me to shoot a gun.
It would have been smart to go back.
Well, getting back now is like, when you look at the hurdle of going back, it's so big now. It's like, oh my god. Yeah. So anyhow, what we did was, I get shells into my gun and force it closed and everything like that. A group of mallards comes in, all greenheads, probably 12 of them, land on top of the ice by our decoys and are standing there.
Some slide.
Standing. They slide on their bellies and stuff like that. 15 yards from me. Literally just looking at each other. Didn't care I was there, didn't call or anything. Go to shoot. Click.
Yep.
Nothing. My pin was frozen from when he fell in. Mm-hmm. And now, when I go to rack it to like try and get the other one out, I can't re-rack it either. So now my gun's dangerous because I can't get the shell out.
And the
pin the trigger's been pulled. And now I have an unsafe gun mixed with
Frozen boy.
Frozen boy mixed with these mallards looking at me, and I can't get his gun to even open because it's so frozen shut with the ice. And I'm looking at mallards in front of me.
Didn't you shoot once?
Nope. That was the other trip.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
That's why, and I kid you not, I have one, that vest I wear, I think there's at least 3 in there, and I have one, every single vehicle, a lighter. No matter what, you travel with a lighter. So in that event, if you had a lighter, you could have hopped off, made a quick fire, and you would have been better.
No, actually, it's illegal to make a fire in that area.
If a concert,
yeah, give me the ticket.
Yeah,
give me the ticket. Anyhow, plus plus we were the only ones out there.
I'm pretty sure we were the only ones out there.
And we're the only idiots that were out there.
And you were probably getting to the point where it might start getting bad.
The mallards were the insult to injury. Is the fact that I've got 15 big, plump, beautiful greenheads right in front of me that I would have done anything for.
Oh yeah.
I started throwing stuff to try. No. So So now I got to pick up the decoys, and he can't do anything but hold the gun in a safe direction because we don't know what might happen with it, and we can't get it open. It's fun.
That's exactly what I was talking about. One thing goes wrong, and it just keeps spiraling.
So now I have to pull. He's sitting in the boat. I'm trying to pull the boat through the skim ice, which wasn't too hard where the decoys were because it was only waist deep water. So I was able to step and brake and kind of use the boat to kind of break it. We get to the river system. That is this deep. My waders are this high. So there's this much of a gap between the water and the very top of my waders. I have to pull him in the boat because he can't do anything, and with good reason has to hold the gun now because there's no safe way to aim a gun that it won't kill somebody. So he's holding the gun and shivering to literally death. I have to pull us an inch forward, get on top of the ice, fall through, get wet myself, move us up an inch. Get up on top of the ice, fall through, move us up an inch. It took me 6.5 hours to get us to the pullover.
The most stressful story.
We went out for the morning hunt, and we got back after dark.
It took me that long. By the time we got to the car, I had to help him to the car, which I messed up, but I was so hard working that I survived. I was like better than him, but still not good. Like my fingers and stuff like that, holding the metal boat and driving. And not only that, a workout of a lifetime. And that day, we were only going to hunt for a few hours, so we didn't bring snacks. The point is, getting all the way in, I had to help him to the car, and we sat in the car for an hour before we even pulled the boat out of the water because we were so messed up because of how cold it was. And after that trip, we had another stupid trip that I'll tell you about on the next podcast where we also put our lives in danger. But the point was, after those 2 trips, we learned our lesson. We're like, okay, we need to bring...
Did you?
We need to bring thermal blanket.
Better than we did before.
We bring emergency thermal blankets. We bring reflectors, flare stuff to start a fire if we have to. All of that is now in our pack. Emergency kits. We never in our life would have ever took that stuff before, but because of those terrible situations we did, Jeff, literally was at the point where he was starting to get in danger.
Oh, yeah.
And in my story, I have permanent damage to me because of it. All my reproductive stuff's fine, so don't worry about that. But I have
to all the ladies out there.
I have permanent damage to my body because of another duck hunting experience that we will talk about on episode 44 of the podcast. We've also got some exciting news about filming with Ted Nugent, and Ryan put some awesome stories together that are a game of Would You Rather that are going to be really interesting on that episode as well. So tune in next week, episode 44 of the Green Me Outdoors podcast. Thank you so much for listening to episode 43. Check us out on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. We'd love to hear from you on episodes you like to see. Thanks so much for tuning in, and stay green.